Okay, so this is probably about the third time I've tried to film this, and I just had to go through my phone and delete a bunch of stuff so I could make this. It's probably gonna be long. I'm not gonna lie. You, I'm gonna try, and this is probably gonna be one of my most uneventful, boring story times. So if you don't like listening to me ramble or you just don't want to stick around, I mean, that's fine. But I need to get this out because I haven't stopped having a panic attack since. I can't. I'm freaking out. I need this off my chest. I need it into the world. I finally need to tell my fucking story. I just need to tell it. So, I'm going to tell you every detail, like down to from where it started. So pretty much a few years back, I used to live with my father. And he goes away for work sometimes. So it was in winter time, and like it was all snowy because we're in Canada, so it's like thick snow. And he asked me to shovel the deck so he could bring his suitcases into the house easier instead of having to like lug it through a whole bunch of fucking snow. And I mean, like, I was like, yeah, okay, whatever, that's fine, I'll do that. Sorry, I look like shit today. You'll understand at the end of this if we could just, move on and get past it. Appreciate it. But anyway, so I obliged and I shoveled the snow, and then I was like shoveling it and throwing it over my shoulder, whatever. And then I heard this pop, and it was like an instantaneous kind of pain. Like I had to drop everything I was doing. I had to just clear a path through the snow for him to walk through. I couldn't shovel the rest of the deck anymore. It was just like instantaneous pain. And then I, like, whatever. I just thought I sprained my wrist. It wasn't a big deal. But then where the pain like started, over the next like few years or so, there was a bump that grew. And well, okay, like the bump happened relatively quickly, but it got a little bit bigger over the years. But I mean, I've never had a positive experience at the doctor's, so I wasn't, too keen on going. Like, they've lied to me and told me I was pregnant when I wasn't. They lied to me and told me that I didn't have seizures when that's exactly what I was having. They also lied to put me on antipsychotics and didn't fucking tell me about it. That right pissed me off. They've lost a lot of my fucking medical history. All the stuff that I've had to go through from like my seizures and my tests and stuff, gone. Everything about my daughter, like my birth and shit, like gone. Like they just lose my shit all the time, and it just pisses me off. Anyway, let's just say I wasn't enthused to go to the doctor. And then so I just let it sit for a few years, and then I moved out with my boyfriend to our old place, and it was affecting me a little bit. Like, I couldn't quite grasp things. Like, if I was holding a cup of tea, I couldn't hold it as tight as I wanted, and I was losing some feeling in my fingertips. So he convinced me. He's like, well, maybe we should get it checked out. And I'm like, well, I don't really want to go, so I'll only go if you come with me, because he's really good at keeping me calm. And like I said, nothing usually goes right for me at the doctor. So we went, and he's like, oh, well, it's a ganglion, like a ganglion cyst. Pretty much it's like a bump on your wrist or other spots, and it's like a packet of gel, kind of. It's like they said that it has the consistency of like honey. So that's just what it was, and that he could get rid of it for me. He also, like, he gave me an option. He's like, we can stick a needle in it and like pull it out and drain it, or we can cut it out. And I hate needles, as you can tell. Just kidding, but I mean, I do hate needles, but so I wasn't enthused for that. Plus, with the needle option, they weren't planning on giving me any like pain meds or like numbing it or anything like that, and so I went with the you can cut it out like surgically, and he's like, well, I don't want you to scar. I know you're a girl and girls don't like scars. I'm like, do you not see that I literally used to slit my own wrists? Like, you're looking at my arms. Scars aren't a big deal. And so I opted for that option, and he's like, okay, well, come back between the hours of 7 a.m. and 8:30, and I'll cut it out for you, because he couldn't do it then. And so we went out there to make the appointment. Like, we were leaving, and we were in the like waiting room with the receptionist making the appointment, and he comes out and he's like, okay, I want to see them on May 23rd at 8:30 a.m. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess he just made the appointment for me. So we came back on May 23rd, which, if you guys know me, that's a few days before my birthday. So I was really excited to have this thing out by my birthday. So we went back, and he decided, or I guess he didn't decide, but we went back, we were waiting, we were in the waiting room, and then he called us in, and he's like, oh, so how can I help you today? I'm like, well, you're the one who made our appointment, like, we're back here so you can cut this thing out of me. And he's like, oh, well, why didn't you come at 7? I've been here since 6:30, you should have came here at 7. And I was like, you're the one who made our appointment, like, our appointment card literally said 8:30 a.m. And he's like, oh, whatever. And so I'm pretty much just taking that as he forgot about our appointment, because he tried to get me to reschedule that day as well. And I'm like, well, I'm already here. Like, if it's not happening today, I'm not coming back. Like, I was having anxiety. I was kind of panicking. I'm like, if it's not done today, I'm not doing it. Like, I'm just not. And so, like, he's like, okay, well, don't worry. Like, just, we can do it. Definitely. Don't worry. And he poked and prodded it and was like squishing it and pushing it and whatever, which, I mean, that made me kind of cringy as is, because it was uncomfortable. It's something I didn't want anyone to touch. It just like made me feel weird. But anyway, he didn't sanitize the table that he had my arm on. He didn't sanitize any of the utensils that he was going to use to cut me open, and they were not taken out of packages like the fresh ones at the hospital. They were just like open. He didn't sanitize anything, and then he pulls out this needle. He puts it in the jar to, I guess, get me the freezing for it. And then he looks at me and he's like, oh, we're not going to do this today. It's okay. I guess because I was nervous and I was looking at my boyfriend and I was biting my lip, as, you know, I would anytime somebody's going to cut something out of me. But, whatever. And he's like, no, it's okay. I'll always be here. We can do this another day. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be now. And I'm like, literally no. Literally no. I made this appointment. It's almost my birthday. He wanted me to come back on the 27th. I was like, no, that's the day before my fucking birthday. Like, no. You made this appointment. Let's just fucking deal with the fucking appointment. Like, I wasn't swearing at him, but I was very, 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 very mad. And, so then he doesn't take any of the, like, numbing stuff into the needle. He just takes the needle out, and then he goes and he's like, okay, well, we're gonna pop it instead. And I was like, oh my God, what the fuck ever. Like, at this point, I'm like, just fucking fix my fucking hand. I don't care how you do it. Just fucking do it. And, so then he goes and he takes this needle about this long, and he pokes it into the bump on my wrist, but he didn't even have to puncture it. Like, he didn't even actually puncture it. He just poked it into my wrist to try to pop it, and then he squeezed it like a zit. And nothing came out. Nothing happened like that. Like, it was still a bump there. But from the second he poked that needle into my hand, shooting pain from my fingertips all the way up to my shoulder right here. Shooting fucking pain instantaneously. Like, it hurt. I was crying. I was sore. Like, my arm was clutched to me like this, like a baby bird does a broken wing. Like, instant fucking taneously. And then, like, my other hand started shaking because I was in pain, and I didn't know if this was, like, what just happened. So, like, my other hand was shaking as I was holding my boyfriend's hand, and he's like, you know what? No, we're not going to do this today. We're not going to do this today. And then he puts his hand on my knee, and he's like, oh, don't worry. I'll always be here. You can always come back. Don't worry. Don't worry. And I'm like, that's not what I'm, like, I didn't say this, but I was like, that's not what I'm fucking worried about. I'm worried about that you just fucked me up. And so we left because I was like, fuck it, he's not going to treat me today. I look at Dom and I'm like, let's just leave because I'm not dealing with this. Like, it hurts. Like, I want to cry. I just want to get out of this fucking doctor's office. And yes, there is a good chance that I may cry in this video. I'm sorry. This is a very long, stressful point in my fucking life. Anyway, I went to another doctor and they said, or like he poked and prodded at it again and all this shit. And I was like, oh, well, fucking great. More people poking it when it fucking hurts now. And he said, well, there's nothing I can do at the moment because I don't know what happened. You're going to have to go and take some Advil and just, like, let it simmer because it only happened a few hours ago. Like, we got home and I went inside, I made a cup of coffee, and I said, no, we need to go to another doctor because this hurts. Like, this shouldn't be normal. Like, this hurts me. And I couldn't move my arm. I couldn't straighten out my fingertips. Like, I couldn't do anything. And then we got back from the other doctor, and I took some Advil, and, like, I just let it sit like this for a while, and I was in pain, and then eventually I decided to go to the hospital because I couldn't do it anymore. Like, there was a lot of pain, and it was constant, and I couldn't move. I couldn't put my bra on by myself. I couldn't pull my fucking pants up by myself. I couldn't shower by myself. I was fucking useless. And so I went to the hospital. And we sat there for a few hours, had some more doctors come and poke and prod at it. I got an MRI, which was stressful because I just don't like closed spaces. They wouldn't let my boyfriend come near me. Like, I was upset. It was a really hard time at the hospital. And then after the MRI, they showed me that, like, they didn't see anything physically wrong, but like, they could tell that something was wrong with the way that I was reacting when they would touch my arm. And I don't know, I was just getting upset. I was in pain. People wouldn't stop touching me. So after that, like, I was in the emergency room, and then after the MRI, they sent me up to day surgery to get it cut out of me. But the plastic surgeon, we sat there for a while as well, and then my sister and my niece came to see me. But the plastic surgeon said that there wasn't anything that he could do because technically he did pop what was ever in my wrist. Like, the bump wasn't there anymore. But like, that other doctor obviously did something wrong. And I was like, oh, okay, so, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, you can't do anything, I can't do anything, like, I don't know what to do. And he's like, well, what we're gonna do is we are going to put it, like, a splint on it, so they, like, put, like, a cast on it, but it was only, like, a half cast. And, like, so they did that and stuff. They put the splint on my arm and stuff like that. And then he referred me to a physiotherapist. And I went to the physiotherapist a few days later. or not a few days. Like, this is a period of like months that I've gone through this. So I went to the physiotherapist, and she said that because she physically can't touch me, that we can't do anything. Like, there's nothing she could do for me either. So she recommended me to the pain clinic. So I went to the pain clinic, and they said pretty much the same thing, only my physio would now be turned into something where they had to put a shot in my shoulder. Like, they called it a block, but they would put a shot in here. It was like a huge needle and a bunch of things that they would put in here, and it would numb my whole arm. And then they would bring in the physiotherapist to do the physio stuff with my hand while it was numb. But it was gonna, the first one they gave me was like a 14-hour block. It was supposed to, because they didn't want me to feel anything. It was supposed to last for 14 hours. It ended up lasting for over 24. I had a panic attack and like all this shit. I was freaking out because I don't like not being able to control my body. It was limp. It was falling out of the sling. Like, I was freaking out, and they told me it would be gone by now. So I called them freaking out, and I was like, I don't like this. Like, they're just like, well, unfortunately, the only thing you can do right now is sleep it off. Like, just try to relax and get some sleep, and you'll wake up and it'll be gone. And I had to do a few more of those. So I went back periodically. Like, I think it was once every week they wanted to see me. And so I would go back and we would do it all over again, except the last few times they gave me the 6-hour block instead of the 14-hour block, which was fine because that was gone in like 2 hours, and that's what I wanted. Like, it was fine. I could deal with that. But they did all the physio. They recommended like that I put my hand in marbles and like swirl it around to like desensitize it. They gave me stretches and other things that I was supposed to do. They gave me a booklet. I was supposed to do everything in that booklet and check it off each day and let them know my pain level and track my pain level every day until I went back to the next appointment. And this whole timeline was about 9 to 10 months where I couldn't move my arm. I couldn't feel it. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't pull up my own pants. I just couldn't do anything. And after the pain clinic, I could move it again and like do all this stuff again. But it still kind of like hurt when I would lift things. Like, when we were moving, I had to lift things, and like this weird sensation would go all the way from like my wrist all the way up to my elbow, and I've always still had a problem with it, despite the pain clinic helping me, the plastic surgeon giving me ideas, the multiple, like the physiotherapists, the doctors, like everyone. Like, I've seen so many fucking doctors. Like, I've probably missed a few. Like, I've seen so many doctors consecutively for this, and I don't know, it's just a lot. So anyway, one of the physiotherapists then finally puts this on me, like, ooh, like before all the pain clinic stuff like that, and she said that I'm only supposed to use it when I feel I need it, but if I feel I don't need it, I'm supposed to take it off and like let my arm breathe and try to move it and stuff like that. Well, pretty much now we're back to here. I literally put my fingers down like this on the bed with my arm up straight like this. I pushed down, like, just to like hold myself up while I went to go reach to grab something. I heard that same pop, and instantaneously, it all happened again. Like, I had to put my arm back in this thing because, like, I legit can't move it. My fingers are curling like this. That was the whole reason they gave me the splint, is because they didn't want my fingers curling. Like, I had to keep them, like, straight because otherwise it would affect the muscles and stuff. But beforehand, I could feel my fingers, like, pushing against the splint. Like, no, we need to curl. Like, it was, like, an involuntary movement. And I can feel the same thing doing it again. Like I can actually feel the nail, like right here between your nail and your skin, cutting into my skin because my fingers are pushing so hard against this splint. I can't stop it. I can't do anything about it. I can't take anything. Like nothing works. Painkillers, muscle relaxers, naproxen. They told me to be on naproxen, and naproxen doesn't work. I don't know what to do. Beforehand they diagnosed it as chronic regional pain syndrome because of what this doctor did to me, because I had never felt this, not once in my life before. Not like this, like instantaneous pain, yes, but not like this, not debilitating, like you can't use your body kind of pain. And I never thought about it, like the word chronic means that like it happens, like it's gonna come back. I never thought about it. I thought I was done. I thought everything was fine. But now we're back at square one, as you can obviously tell, because I literally can't move my arm. It doesn't go all the way up to here like it did last time. Like I can still move my shoulder and stuff, but I can't bend my elbow. I can't straighten out my fingers. I can't move my wrist. Like I can't do any of that. And I don't know what to do now, because if this is a continuous thing, what am I supposed to do? Like, I can't live my life like this. Like, the last time this happened, I was, like, incapable of doing anything. I'm sorry. For, like, 9 to 10 months. I couldn't do anything for myself. I couldn't help my boyfriend around the house. I couldn't work. And I'm so upset, and I'm having like the world's biggest panic attack because of this. Like, I don't know what to do. I'm gonna try and call back the pain clinic and see if they can help me again. But I don't want to. I don't want to go through that again. I'm sorry. I don't know. He fucked up my arm, probably permanently.